Obviously, we have Glosico taking place on Saturday afternoon at Whaddon Road. It sees mid-table Cheltenham host the struggling Forest Green. Forest Green will be hoping to get a win to appease their fears of relegation. I've got Conor, Fitzgerald and Josh Slack in the studio here, and they're going to talk a bit about the game and where we think sort of Forest Green can maximise their efforts in order to ensure that they win. So, Conor, don't take away first. What is Forest Green's sort of key to success in the game?
I'd say more it's just the partnership between their two strikers. They signed Ruben Reid in January, so I'd say it's their partnership between Ruben Reid and Christian Deutsch. They've got 22 goals between them this season, but it's Ruben Reid actually who's on good form. It's been Deutsch for most of the season, but Reid has been scoring the goals. Deutsch has been out injured, so I think it's more down to him right now. Reid's got to step up and get them goals, but they do struggle away from home while Cheltenham are quite good at home. So it'll be a struggle to break down that Cheltenham defence. Josh, obviously it's a lot more key to Forest Green, but what about Cheltenham? What are their keys to the game?
I think if you look at Mohamed Issa's record this season, he's just won Player of the Month. He's been fantastic. He's come from the 8th tier of English football, and he's scored 20 goals this season. He's been phenomenal.
They might have a bit of trouble keeping hold of him though, might they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be teams a lot higher who will want him this season and have a real job to keep hold of him. I think Gary Johnson will have to do a lot of persuading there. Obviously, he signed a new contract after scoring 4 goals in 3 games at the start of the season until 2020, but it's going to be such a difficult thing to keep hold of him. Obviously, I think Harry Powell is key on Saturday as well. He's a big player, their most creative outlet, if you like. And he's been firing in some important goals for the Robins lately, that's for sure.
And pushing that over to you, Conor. I mean, Deutsch is another man that, looking forward, if Forest Green can't stay in the league, then they might, have to say goodbye to their star man.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think if they get relegated, then I think even a League One team would come in for him, let alone a League Two team, if they don't maintain that status, because they'd basically give him no reason to stay. And with the reputation he's gained this season coming in, there's no reason for him to stay. But another point on Forest Green, you say Josh said Harry Pell's quite key for Cheltenham, but they have Forest Green have their own creative man in Dale Group, who's been on decent form recently. So I think it will be a battle of the creative midfielders to see who can break each other down. But we'll just have to see on that day. But I'd also say for Issa, if he doesn't perform, then I don't see where Cheltenham's goals are coming from, really. I know they've spread the goals about recently, but if they want a goal, he's the man they usually go to. But what do you think a loss will mean for Forest Green?
Forest Green, it's obviously going to be hard. Barnet play Grimsby on the weekend, which is a massive game down at the bottom. If Barnet win that and Forest Green fail to win, it's just a point between them and the relegation zone. That's looking like a real uphill task. Obviously, they have to go to Luton as well. They have to play Grimsby at home, and they go to Yeovil, as well as hosting Chesterfield as well. So it's a hard run-in for Forest Green if you look at it, because the teams at the bottom will want to win just as much as them. But I anticipate it to be a scrappy affair on Saturday. I think it lacked a real creative edge in the game earlier on in the season, and wasn't many chances, but it finished 1-1. I think Cheltenham will be hopeful of putting a record straight as well. They haven't won in the last 4 against late Gloucestershire rivals as well. So, what do you think? Do you think they'll be keen to get one over on them after that? After that poor record against them.
I'd say, because we talk about Forest Green a lot, because Cheltenham at this point, they're on mid-table and they basically have nothing to play for. So I think it's more about Forest Green taking advantage of that, because I think that will even motivate Forest Green more. They're obviously in a worse position, but I think if Cheltenham don't come out fighting for that game, even though it's at Whaddon Road, I still think Forest Green could just come out and eat Cheltenham alive, really, if Cheltenham aren't up for it. And I think that could be the biggest key in the game, really, because if Cheltenham do come out motivated and they go at it like Gary Johnson has said, like a cup final, then I don't think Forest Green will actually win the game. But it just depends on the attitude of the players on the day, really.
Forest Green as well, they'll be eager to get it done now. They'll be eager to get safe, have 4, still with 4 games left, still take a bit of pressure off. So I think if they can get a win on Saturday, it's definitely going to take the pressure off them hosting Chesterfield the week after, which is a huge game, because Chesterfield are at the bottom, have games in hand, and I think it's really important for Forest Green to get the points on the board now. And I know you can talk about how important the El Glosico derby is, Cheltenham, Forest Green want to get one over on each other, but it's important to bear in mind that a loss for Cheltenham would not be the end of the world. And Forest Green are the ones who need to get points on the board for sure.
Yeah, Forest Green will be more worried about the bigger picture. Their 2 home games are against left after this are currently Chesterfield, who are bottom of the league, and Grimsby, who are in 21st, and then they have away games against Luton, who are in 2nd, and Yeovil. But I just think that attitude will be key. They
say they go to Luton. Luton might already be promoted by that point, so I think the pressure might be off Forest Green there. They could go out there and maybe get something at Luton, because I think they might have switched off by that point, because I think they're well up there in 2nd place now. It's out of Lem and Accrington, who are going to battle it out for that top spot.
I think we're going to look to wrap it up there. So any final thoughts and a prediction from you, Conor?
Final thoughts is I do believe Gary Johnson and say Cheltenham will come out like cup final, but I think Forest Green will be just as motivated as they are. But I'm going to say it's going to be a stale, I'd say 1-1 draw.
And over to you, Josh, as well. Final thoughts and a prediction, please.
I can see Cheltenham sneaking this one 2-1. I think Barnet might actually sneak a result against Grimsby, so I'll bring Forest Green just to that point.
Definitely be interesting coming this season with our 2 Gloucestershire teams battling it out to see who is the superior. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Cheers.